And welcome back, everyone, to the NFL Today. Today's hot topic exclusively for CBS SportsLine, the offensive and defensive MVP winners. We start with LaDainian Tomlinson. Boy, no surprise there.
Not much said, right, guys? I mean, I think his season spoke louder than any of us could ever talk about, but he was fantastic. He did it all, touchdowns, running, catching. He actually threw the ball a few times. He's a credit to the league. He's everything that you'd want your best player to be. No argument from any of us.
They should just give it to him next year, too.
I don't know about that.
Because he is
you
the
have
most,
a vote, don't you?
I do. The most complete player in the National Football League. Hence, he's the best player in the National Football League, playing on the best football team in the National Football League. And I think that's what speaks volume and speaks the loudest. I mean, sometimes you get guys that have great years and it doesn't correlate to them being the best football team. But when you're the best player on the best team, I think it was a foregone conclusion that LaDainian Tomlinson was going to be the MVP.
Well, I mean, this guy just does so much for your football team. You can tell he has a great attitude. He's a leader of this football team, and they're going to have a chance to ride his back into the Super Bowl. And I believe because he is the player he is, they have the best chance to win.
The only thing I would say about this is that we all take Peyton Manning for granted. Okay, you know what? He didn't have the greatest playoff game yesterday, but he had a great season. You listen to Bill Polian talk about him; it might have been his best season ever as a quarterback, even though the statistics might not prove that out. The fact of the matter is, he's a great football player. Might go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time when it's all over said and done.
And a player that Dan talked about all season long, and rightfully so, the defensive MVP, Jason Taylor.
Well, I think Jason Taylor deserved this. You know, what he's done all year, not only the sacks, but also the plays he made as far as interceptions, returning for touchdowns. He's done that twice, and also the plays he makes and creates for other people on that team to make plays. Jason Taylor, I think, deserves the defensive MVP of the year. Now, Sean Merriman, great player. If it wasn't for the problems he had with the steroids and some of that, then he would probably be the MVP.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan, but when I look at Champ Bailey with the amount of opportunities, or not the opportunities that he gets to make plays. I mean, he's only getting maybe 2 or 3 passes thrown his way, and to lead the league with 10 interceptions, I think that speaks volume. Mariano Rivera is the best closer to ever play the pitch in a ball game, but he's not going to lead the league in strikeouts for the simple fact he's only pitching 1 or maybe 2 innings a ball game. And for Champ Bailey to lead the league in interceptions while only having 3 attempts his way a game, I think that says an awful lot about this guy's talent.
Everybody forgot about Brian Urlacher. He had a great season.
Oh, my God!
Early on, he had a great season. But the other thing, too, is there are a couple guys on Baltimore that you could have voted for, too. But the problem is they were so good collectively as a unit. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Adelius Thomas, Bart Scott. Everybody had almost like the same statistics on that team. So they all got hurt because they were all great together. But I still like Brian Urlacher. He's the heart and soul of the defense, the middle linebacker, you know, the Bears, the whole thing. And he was a big reason why they won as many games as they did.
They're all good, but
they're all
Jason Taylor won.
You know what? You guys will be impressive as lawyers before the Supreme Court, but the judge has already spoken. Be sure to catch us at noon Eastern every Sunday right here on the NFL Today.
So like Brian Urlacher, what's the matter?